Welcome to Lean Business Improvement Show, a show designed to give you the tools and techniques to remove waste from your business. Welcome to the Lean Business Improvement Show. I do hope you're well, and I do hope you are taking some knowledge and information out of these shows that you can really apply in your business. This show is designed to give you the tools and techniques to focus on removing waste, increasing productivity, and getting the customer what they want when they want it. I'm Matthew Haddock, your host. I'm a leader and lean expert with over 25 years of experience in a number of different industries. If you haven't already, subscribe, share, like, and comment on this show. It really does get it out there to other people who might be able to learn and enjoy the show. And of course, if you want to be part of the community, please email at managermattconsulting@gmail.com. So, what has Lean ever done for us? Is Lean something that can actually work in small to medium businesses? Or is it just something that should sit on a bookshelf or in a professor's auditorium or in a car manufacturer's? Is it actually something that can be applied? And where have we really got some good examples of where this has really worked? Well, in today's show, I want you to walk through with me some examples of how I and a team have applied Lean principles and really got results. They're going to be focused in three areas. We're going to look at problem solving, going to look at waste in over testing, and I'm going to talk about organisation of an area. There's a number of different ways of tackling waste and inefficiencies inside your business. And of course, there's a number of different examples that I'll be giving you as these shows go on. But I want to focus on the three big ones that I think have really delivered for a team and a business some tangible results. Let's start with organisation of a work area. Going back into my days when I worked in printing, it was very much a quick changeover environment, but wasn't run like a quick changeover environment. I was in a small batch producing company that made checks. Now, to those members of the audience who don't know what a check is, I can understand, because obviously it's a format of paying, that's a little bit out of touch these days. So a check, you may still get one from your grandma's or granddad's, is a paper copy of a payment. And it was in the printing of these checks I was my first real exposure to Lean and how we could use Lean tools to streamline the process. So check printing is very complicated. Obviously, people like to forge checks because they're like money. So if you can forge them and people can get money for nothing, they're going to do it. So the printing that goes into a check is very complicated. It's got a number of different processes that means that it's very hard to copy. Number of different inks, number of different stages. Now, of course, with the shrinking of the check market, this meant that check production was very small and meant that a lot more changeovers had come into the business. A check run on a machine, a printing machine, may only take 15 minutes, but the setup could take an hour and a half and the clean down another half an hour. So out of your 2.25 hours, you only actually made anything for the customer in 15 minutes of it. So my task with the team was to reduce that time. And the first thing I did was to stand in the area, as I've said before, and look for waste. And it was obvious that the changeover time was extremely long due to the organisation of the area. People had to leave and go find parts. They had to go and get cleaning equipment. They had to find the new plates for the next run and bring it back. And if you followed it, which was easy to do with a simple device. So as I would stand there with a clipboard and mark every time somebody left the area when we were doing a changeover. And it was obvious that the organisation of that area wasn't really helping. So I sat down with the team of printers and showed them my findings of how much time we were wasting. And we designed, with the engineering team, a simple change to the area. We moved some of the larger barriers that were sat between the machines to allow the people to walk across safely. We then brought in a trolley system that could put the next work all on it before, so you could load it before. So as it was running for that 15 minutes, you could preload it for the next run. We then designated people with certain tasks whilst the changer was going on. And then we tried it and we ran it. And when we ran it, we realized it helped, but it wasn't perfect. So we tweaked it again and we worked on these over and over again, changing the layout of the trolley, changing the layout around the machines, making sure the common tools and cleaning equipment were near all the time. And within the space of a couple of times through the process, we managed to take a changeover of 2 hours down to an hour. Now that's pretty good, but we could do more. After another couple of sessions, we managed to move the machines themselves so they were nearer to each other, allowing people to help much more on the changeovers whilst their machines were running and staggering the starts the other people could work. This meant that it was easy for the changeovers, and at the end we had changeovers down to half an hour, which was very good in the time. So there's an example of a real life organisation of an area and how you can change the area by working with the teams to make it much slicker to do things such as changeovers and, of course, running of the machine. Now, the second area is waste due to overdoing things. This example was testing. So in a number of businesses, you will have to do a test on a certain amount of time. So normally it could be every 20 minutes you need to do the test, or every half an hour, or every hour. Those kind of rules are in businesses. What I did when we looked at the waste coming from these testings, it was a destructive test, which meant every time you did the test, you had to put it in the bin. So we had to do this test every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, we wasted 100 kilos of product through a metal detector. So that meant we were throwing away all the time, every day, every half an hour, 100 kilos of predominantly good product. So I worked with the technical team and discussed why half an hour was the test time. And it turned out that no one could tell me why. Yeah, that's right. No one could tell me why it took the half an hour was the amount of time. It was just something that happened over time that half an hour was picked. There was nothing in any rules or regulations. It just said regular. It just said regular checks. So I worked through using some tools and techniques to figure out how much cost it would be if we moved it to an hour. How much savings would we generate? And then from that, how much would we waste if something went wrong? Now, obviously, if you're doing a test which is around safety or food safety, you want to make sure that the product doesn't leave the business. You want to make sure you can control that product. So working with the supply chain teams, we realized that the product was still on our shop floor for the whole day. So if we did have a failure after an hour instead of half an hour, we would still be able to control the product and be able to make sure it didn't go out unsafely. So working through 100 kilos over half an hour to 100 kilos every hour, we obviously saved 100 kilos an hour. And over a day, it's quite a bit of money. When it worked out over the year, it was £150,000 of saving. Now, because you need governance, one of the questions was, well, what if something was found? How much would we throw away? So we worked out again, if we had one occurrence of a failure, then it would cost us £10,000 to throw it all away. But when we looked historically, we'd never had a failure. It was something you had to do, but we'd never had a failure over the space of it. So even with the waste potentially of one failure in a year, we'd still be saving £140,000. So there's another example of waste over testing. And my last example is problem solving. How do you use problem solving? Well, problem solving in itself becomes an art form, and the problem solving document can become a real ally to a lean practitioner. What you need to do with a problem solving document is look at how you really tackle the root cause. A number of times I worked in industry and we had a Groundhog Day. We'd have times where you'd have your meeting and have the same problems come up over and over and over again. So what did I do? Well, again, you can't do it on your own. You work with a team and you bring in a structured document that says, what is the problem statement? What happened? What were the root causes if we know it? Then you go into a number of different tools, such as your 5 why. How can we solve this issue? By using the document, it gave you a structure. It meant that you could examine and get to root cause in real time. It meant that you didn't go back around the circle when you thought it was fixed with false fixes. So using a problem-solving document really helped. And then in a real life crisis, when unfortunately something does go wrong and a customer is affected, then you've got a documentation that you can show exactly how you are going to deal with the issue, how you're going to fix it in the future, and how you're going to stop it. And you can show that to your customer. As I said at the start, you're trying to help the customer order more from you and have a product that's safe. By doing it with a problem-solving structured document, you can then fix it. And what I will do is I'll show you some problem-solving documents in a future cast, and you can actually walk through it with me. So those are 3 examples of where you can actually use real-life lean and real-life problem-solving to get to the bottom and remove waste from your business. Well, that's it for this episode. As I said at the beginning, please subscribe and like. You'll see some of the videos and things come flashing up on the screen. But that's the end of it for today. If you want to message us, please send it to manager@consulting@gmail.com. But that's it for the episode. I hope to see you in the next. Goodbye.